Have you ever felt like you're fighting everything, desperately trying to keep your life together? You try to fix and control every single piece of your world, but the harder you try, the more exhausted you become. It feels exactly like trying to hold back a massive flood with nothing but your bare hands. But what if the reason you're so tired isn't because you are failing? What if you are simply exhausted from carrying a heavy weight that you were never meant to hold? Point 1. The illusion of control and the weight we carry. Have you ever woken up feeling as though you are entirely responsible for holding your universe together? Many of us walk through our days, desperately trying to manage every outcome, attempting to fix every broken piece, and forcing our circumstances to align with our desires. It often feels like you are trying to hold back a massive flood using only your bare hands. We mistakenly believe that if we let go for even a single second, our entire world will collapse under the immense pressure. This constant need for control drains our energy and leaves us feeling profoundly weary. We operate like individuals, carrying massive, lead-filled backpacks, hunched over by the sheer weight of financial pressures, relationship struggles, and anxieties about tomorrow. However, the reason you feel so completely drained is not that you are weak or failing at life. You are simply exhausted because you are trying to shoulder a massive burden that was never meant for human shoulders. You are acting as the ultimate carrier, attempting to be the god of your own life. But there is a totally different way to live, a way to become the released, someone who walks through the exact same dark valleys, but with a mysterious, steady lightness. This happens when you stop fighting to control the uncontrollable and surrender the heavy load to the only one strong enough to handle it. If you are ready to let go of this exhausting burden and invite His divine peace into your heart today, type Amen down in the comments below so that God may bless you and lift your heavy yoke. Point 2. The radical invitation. Just come. When we reach our breaking point, our human instinct is to search for a new strategy, a better routine, or a comprehensive manual on how to manage our overwhelming stress. We live under the false assumption that peace is a distant destination, a reward we can only earn after we have checked off every single box on our endless to-do lists. We think we have to hustle our way into a state of rest. But when Jesus looks at our frantic efforts and heavy hearts, He does not hand out another burdensome checklist or a complicated blueprint for success. Instead, in the Gospel of Matthew, He flips the entire script on how we handle life's pressures by offering one incredibly simple yet profoundly radical word, come. He doesn't demand that you fix your life before approaching Him. The only prerequisite is that you are weary and carrying a heavy load. He extends a lifeline, inviting you to trade your exhaustion for His sustainable rest. This fundamentally changes everything because it reveals that true rest is not the ultimate prize for finishing your grueling work. Rather, it is the essential power source required to actually do the work. The peace you have been desperately searching for is not found in discovering a new method or achieving a specific milestone. The breakthrough is found in a person. It happens the exact moment you realize you do not have to have it all figured out. You just have to answer the invitation to come exactly as you are, bringing all your mess, fatigue, and brokenness directly to Him without hesitation. Point 3. Redefining surrender. Alignment, not weakness. There is a widespread misconception that surrendering your problems to God is a sign of personal failure or weakness. Many people mistakenly assume that letting go means giving up completely, walking away from your responsibilities, or taking a permanent vacation from reality. However, true spiritual surrender is actually the most empowering decision you can make. It is not about throwing in the towel in defeat. Rather, it is about throwing out the toxic trash that weighs you down, the crippling anxiety, the stubborn ego, and the frantic obsession with always needing to be right. Think of your life as a sailboat on the open water. A sail does not have the ability to generate the wind itself, but if it is tangled or facing the wrong direction, the boat will remain hopelessly stuck regardless of how fiercely the wind blows. Surrender is the act of aligning your sail perfectly to catch the divine breeze. It shifts your existence from being exhaustingly self-powered to being beautifully spirit-driven. When you try to be the ultimate source of your own strength, you are like someone holding a heavy bag at arm's length. At first, it seems manageable, but as the hours turn into days, your muscles cramp and the pain becomes unbearable. Letting God take the wheel means you stop trying to force outcomes through sheer willpower. You step out of the heavy machinery of self-reliance and seamlessly align yourself with a higher purpose, trusting His divine process over your limited perspective and allowing His infinite strength to gracefully replace your fading human endurance. Point 4. The danger of the always-on hustle culture. We currently live in a loud, hyper-connected culture that constantly glorifies burnout and exhaustion. Society conditions us to believe that our stress levels are essentially a badge of honor, whispering the dangerous lie that if we aren't completely drained, we simply aren't doing enough. We fall into the trap of thinking that overworking, overplanning, and carrying the weight of the world proves our love and dedication. But the harsh reality we must confront is that your crippling anxiety does not equal a meaningful contribution, and your spiritual burnout is not a holy sacrifice. Operating solely on your own grit is like desperately trying to row a boat that is still securely tied to the wooden dock. You might be breaking a serious sweat and giving 100% of your effort, but you remain totally stuck in an endless, frustrating cycle of resentment and fatigue. Jesus is not impressed by your 4 a.m. hustle culture or your flawless 5-year plans. He is deeply moved by your genuine weariness. Some battles in your life are simply too immense to be conquered by your personal strategy, and some voids in your soul are far too deep to be filled by working harder. When you insist on carrying the burden alone, you are voluntarily choosing a heavy yoke that was never tailored for you. You are trying to pay off a spiritual debt that was already settled over 2,000 years ago. True freedom requires you to release the heavy oars, step away from the false religion of self-correction, and let Him faithfully navigate the turbulent waters. Point 5. Practical steps to rest and transformation. To genuinely step into this promised rest, you do not need to orchestrate a massive overhaul of your entire life. You simply need to make 3 highly practical internal shifts. First, practice the daily release. Every single morning, when you feel that familiar, anxious tightness in your chest urging you to seize control, consciously unbuckle the weight and verbally declare that the day belongs to Him. Second, embrace blindfolded trust. Our modern world continuously screams that having more information and predicting every possible what-if scenario brings ultimate security. But true faith softly whispers that you do not need to see the entire roadmap if you implicitly trust the driver. Stop demanding a detailed 5-year plan and start relying entirely on His faithful daily provision. Third, commit to single-step obedience. The main reason you feel so overwhelmingly paralyzed is that you are attempting to solve a potential crisis that is still 6 months away. God is not asking you to secure your entire future right now. He is merely asking you to take the very next right step directly in front of you. Focus on one small act of kindness, one brave decision, or one quiet moment of prayer. When you consistently practice these steps, you transition from being a stressed-out engine to a peaceful passenger. If this message brought true comfort to your heavy heart today and helped you embrace His easy yoke, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can continue sharing these powerful truths and journey together in His perfect rest.